There we go. Also forgot to put this in the Master Duel category. This is technically Master Duel related now. Technically. You're just drawing jar grades. That's how kind of I feel about Max C. Like, if you were to use Max C and get one draw off of it and you draw Max C, it's like useless. Why have more than one? You want to not get Max C from using it. Speaking of, so there's a particular thread I want to look at today. It's this one, because that one got funny as fuck. But for the most part, people are really upset about the whole XYZ thing. Has anything changed recently? Oh, this is all the other stuff. Oh, actually, did somebody reply to me? Hold on. This guy this guy says a lot of funny stuff, and very unhappy about people just like using whatever they want in an XYZ deck. Now Marilyn brought up a point before we go into this. Hang on, here it was. I got to add effect filler again. Oh, true, actually, yeah. You get to skip your opponent's next turn anyway. It's like, well, I guess maybe it does benefit the user, I suppose. So I'll just read this first and then I'll say my part. But your win shouldn't count in an XYZ event unless you XYZ summon. Just a bit of venting, because Konami is too dumb to realize they should make themed events require you to perform the theme during every duel at least once to gain any rewards. Basically, if you don't even attempt an XYZ summon at all during a duel, it shouldn't count that duel or anything that happened inside of it for your event progress or missions. This immediately fixes all those lab and other extra deck agnostic decks that keep showing up in events not meant for them. To be clear, you can make most any deck into the correct complying deck. My problem is with people who make a lab deck that just does normal lab stuff, even when it's 2 level 4s on the field, and a rank 4 in the extra deck. They don't make the ranked 4 because they just want to do normal lab stuff, which is normally fine, but this event is about making the ranked 4, not about playing lab without an extra deck at all. I use lab as an example, but to be clear, that's just the last deck I faced that flouted the rules. Cups already suck, but at the very least, they could comply with the rules. Just to be clear, there is the possibility that people would lose wins from not being able to play enough to make extra deck monsters. However, I don't think those losses would be as much of a problem as the lab and other decks running about are. If you are losing that badly, you should already be surrendering anyway. No one will be able to screw you over either by surrendering before you XYZ, assuming you're running an XYZ deck like you should be. Numeron stonks. Yeah, big old Numerons. So, I have a few gripes with this, but I understand where it's coming from. So, number one, I understand that when Konami makes a event around a particular method of summoning, I feel like you should be running a deck that does that particular summon method. That's just part of the event. You want to be able to see somebody else doing XYZ stuff too. Now, I get that. The problem is, there's a bit of imbalance with like certain XYZ decks, alright? Like in terms of a power level, okay? Like not every XYZ deck is going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Kashtira, alright? Not every single one. Like, maybe you can squeak out some Galaxy Eyes wins against a fucking Kashtira deck, but my sweet baby Jesus, if I want to use something like Super Quantums, I can't. Like, I would love to use a Super Quantum deck because I like seeing the XYZs for that and making the big old fucking mech carrier, the big old Magnus guy. He's really cool. But fuck me dead if I would even get past one monster on the field. It just ain't happening. Like, if somebody fucking ashes the search for the field spell, it's over. That's all it takes. So as much as I would love to do the XYZ stuff, it's just so much easier to use a deck that's just gonna power through the tournament, like Yubel, for example. Like, Yubel doesn't technically need the fusions to make it work. Yubel just needs to attack into stuff to work, and it just works, alright? Something I've noticed, though, is people seem to be playing around Yubel, which is very funny. So this was probably just also a Makanko thing as well. I know Yubel is the big thing at the moment, but when I pick going second, my opponent 9 times out of 10 will just pass without doing anything. No matter what deck they have, they'll just pass, which is a little aggravating, and it's making me want to actually run the Grinder Golem, because there's been a few instances where I have full combo and I could do everything, but they're missing a monster on the field. They don't have anything, and that's where the Grinder Golem would come into play, where just having a Kaiju isn't enough. And the Grinder Golem does help out Yubel a little bit, but it's just ridiculous. Anyway, the point is, people are playing around that now, which is kind of funny. However, something like Madolchis as well is like, I don't know if Madolchis are on the same tier, because there's a few instances with certain archetypal XYZ decks or XYZ themed decks like kind of need their link to function up to like to be up to scratch with modern like XYZ decks, like, you know, again using Kashtira as an example. This also does come down to player preference. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Utopia either. I'm not a huge fan of Galaxy Eyes. I know there's a very powerful XYZ decks, but I just don't, they're not for me. I just don't like them. There's just nothing that appeals to those. There's nothing that appeals to me in those cards for some reason. Like, there's a few. Again, I like Madolchis, I like Super Quantums, but those aren't, at least from me playing them anyway, they're not strong enough to like fucking just totally fly through the fucking event. And I imagine Madolchi is pretty good, and I know it's getting support soon, but like, you kind of need the fucking Link monster to make it like good. Otherwise, it's just kind of, well, you got a couple of returns on the field, and that's about it. I don't know. It's also hard to say if, like, would you consider Madra Spectres to be an XYZ deck? Because they have, like, an XYZ that just got unbanned, like the Kirin. Like, prob's not. But, interesting. It's beating cash decks. I know cash decks have a bit of a choke, but I've defeated cash decks by using, shit to steal the fucking, whatchamacallit, Arise Heart. Because then I just get to get rid of the Shangri-La, and I can just get rid of the Arise Heart for like Typhon or something. I was like, well, alright. That was easy. But my goodness though, my fucking goodness. Also, yeah, the fact that Typhon exists too in this particular event, I don't know, like, Konami makes very strange decisions. Typhon is probably gonna get thrown around a lot, considering you're forcing your opponent to XYZ summon. So cards like Zeus and Typhon are just gonna be thrown about like left and right, and I don't want the fucking event to just be filled with like Zeus and Typhons, alright? Like, that's all it's gonna be at that point. I do understand this. This is why, like, I have other decks, at least one deck per unique summoning method, whether it be like rituals, synchros, XYZs, or pendulums or some shit, just because like Konami does make events like this. However, again, not like, what if you're a fan of Blue Eyes? All right, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You spend all your resources on Blue Eyes, all right, and then you can't play the event? Is that fair? I don't know. I don't think Konami can enforce it. Also, the fact that like you have to get rewards. This is the other part I don't like. I don't like being forced to do the XYZ summon to get rewards, because 9 times out of 10, what if you're put in a situation on turn 2 where you can't like willingly XYZ summon without putting yourself at a detriment? Like, that just seems bad. It just seems quite bad. Like, let's take somebody using Horus for example. Like, I've seen so many fucking Horus decks in the XYZ Cup. Like, they always make a shitty rank monster. I say shitty, but like, they keep overlaying them, and it's like, why do you do that? Like, your monsters are immune to destruction if you don't overlay them. Like, I feel like Horus is stronger by itself without the fucking rank 8s on top of it. Which is hilariously silly. But, you know, maybe if you had to XYZ summon, right? The lab deck, that's cancer. I haven't, like... I don't know if I've experienced, like, true lab. Not in the cup anyway, I haven't seen lab yet. But I know people are talking about it a lot. I used to hate lab a lot because they fucking hand rip you and just take all the cards out of your hand before you even get your turn. I personally don't like that. I think that's pretty shit. But I understand the lore behind it and why they have an our turn kind of situation going on. Because you're supposed to trek through the labyrinth, and it just so happens the labyrinth is filled with fucking transaction rollbacks and nonsense hand traps. So what a cool labyrinth, bro. Fucking cool labyrinth. I'm sure this was received very greatly. Blech. Being forced to play in a certain way sounds bad. And they didn't even provide a loaner for people who don't have XYZ decks, so to be extra harsh. And ultimately, it's not an XYZ summon event, but more about being able to use other extra deck stuff. I mean, them getting rid of, like, whatchamacallit. Hang on, do I have any... I'm gonna get some water, actually. Removing links, fusions, synchros, and rituals and all that stuff from the whole event. I mean, it incentivizes XYZs, but some of those decks do need links and stuff to get the ball rolling to make the XYZs. Oh, right, because they can... yeah, that's right. I forgot they can use that. There's some, like, wacky shit you can do with transaction rollback that is absolutely absurd. I don't have a deck that can use it yet, but I want to try doing some funny stuff with it if I ever make a fucking trap-focused deck. But lab is a bit disgusting. I think paleos are, like, on the same tier, though. That is incorrect. It is an XYZ summon event. They just did it wrong. This is a game where you have to use an extra deck, so it doesn't make sense to call an XYZ event an XYZ event unless you're supposed to be using XYZ decks. They even banned a bunch of cards that stop XYZ summons. Though, not enough given the damn barrier statues that are still showing up. As for other issues, well, it's flawed, yes, but being a competitive event, they likely didn't see loaner decks as a good idea. I mean, there is cheap XYZ decks in the shop. Anyone could buy one. So that's the other thing too. They have a current, like, currently available XYZ pack, which gives you, like, Raid Raptors and shit like that. But I do have to ask myself, like, is Battling Boxes and Raid Raptors, like, up to the same tier as, like, other very good XYZ decks that don't need, like, other cards to function, basically? Battling Boxes are pretty good, but I wonder if they're considered rogue, or how do they compare to Raid Raptors, for example? There we go, to get some water. Oh, that's true, Mando. I mean, that happens, like, fucking... I swear it happens even in the ladder. Just normally, like, climbing the ladder, people fucking... just squeak out FTKs. Like, alright. Thanks, bro. As being forced to play a certain way, that's literally how events work. You don't have to participate. Wanting the gems is not a reason to deny alternate formats' validity. You are already being locked out of your synchro decks, which is something I quite enjoy, being a chaos player. I mean, that's fair. It, like, okay. I guess I don't see this game as, like, a free-to-play kind of game, which is... I mean, I should. It is a free-to-play game at the end of the day. But, like, people probably should have a variety of decks, and I'm assuming that's what Konami's intention was to bring your, like, XYZ variety to the fucking... to the spotlight. Only most people don't really like XYZs, from what I've noticed. Well, mainly because, like, the cup is filled with Kashira, Horus, and Lab, which is surprising. And I guess Makankos are in there too. People don't like Makankos either. Okay, hang on. That's not what I'm here for, though. The point is, I want to see if, like, somebody replied to me in this.
If you use a non-XYZ related decks, if you use non-XYZ related decks at an XYZ focused event, get good. Get the F out of events where you can't be bothered to actually play by the rules. No one wants you here. No one likes your cheap gimmicks because you want an easy PP. Sorry, you want an easy PP squeeze to acquire gems you can't be asked to work for. P.S. Kashtira isn't a real deck. It's cancer. Doesn't count.
I don't know, man. Like, out of all the XYZ decks, I think that's an XYZ deck, but I could be wrong. You know? They do overlay into a level 7. They do that. There was one guy who, after getting rid of their, like, Arise Heart and after getting rid of their Shangri-La, they started making, like, very obscure, very strange, like, rank 7s. I'm like, whoa, they've got, like, other shit in the deck that isn't just Kashtira nonsense. Like, fuck. Beat the cheese decks. The cheese decks. If the rules didn't allow them, they wouldn't be using them. By the way, I'm not condoning it. It defeats the purpose of a themed event. Just saying Konami allowed it, so it's not against the rules. I don't know how Konami could possibly, like, comb through every single card in the game and ban everything that isn't, like, XYZ related in some way. Because, like, Summon a Monk, for example, is technically XYZ related, alright? Technically. Because you use it to get out of rank 4. And then from there you just make, like, Utopia or some bullshit. Sounds more like you need to get good.
Like, no.
Oh, sorry, this is from the first one.
I know that's the problem. No, you need to get good, not me.
Already am. Hey. Hey, I don't want to be here either, but I gotta stock up gems for the Old Art Masquerena. Anyway, activating wanted. I have not seen Snake Eyes in the tournament. Like, in the cup. I've not seen Snake Eyes at all. I don't know what the fuck they do. Like, at all. Like, I guess you can make a rank 1, like Literalisk or something. Sorry, your username still checks out. Never change, OP. I have yet to lose to a Kashtira deck in this event. My Snake Eyes Horus deck is having a field trip. How the fuck does it even work? Oh, look, it's me. Or, I mean, who's this fuck?
Using Snake Eyes Horus isn't a brag. My username is literally a joke. Try a little harder.
I can't tell if this guy's, like, just trolling or not. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I find it funny that he's a Ubel Striker pile. So I made, like, I was like, I want the board breakers from Sky Striker, but I also just want to use Ubel. And sure enough, that worked. And it just breaks boards and it summons Ubel and it does exactly what I wanted it to do. I'm playing by the rules, and in my last duel, I summoned Dugaris Lab. Sorry, Lab is XYZ deck now. If Konami produced worthwhile events, I'd be more motivated. That's fair. Oh, there is new stuff. I haven't seen any of these. They wouldn't take too long. Sorry. They wouldn't take the time to look up what's meta along with the cards associated with them to ban in the events anyway. Just that time of the month for them to entice players for keeping their game alive. So I actually want to have a look at this guy's posts in the background, just for curiosity's sake. You'll see why. You'll see why in, like, the next one.
Having fun getting your crap pushed in by Steam support, you gatekeep.
Wait, what? Hold on. Is this still the same sentence?
Have fun getting your crap pushed in by Steam support, you gatekeeping, insulting little redacted.
I'm assuming bitch was the word that was here. Steam support, you gate. There's also, yeah, there's, I don't know if there's an actual comma there or something. There's something there. I don't know what that is. There's nothing there, never mind. Did you, I don't know how to say this guy's name. Gray? Did you, like, report this guy? Let's say F Konami. F Konami. So, here's the fun thing. Hang on, where was it? Horus Fest. Oh, right, yeah, hang on.
Horus Fest. This event may as well be Kashtira Horus 1.
I mean, fair. I've seen a large amount of those decks. I guess they're rather popular.
They at least play the event, not like all those Asians that play Labyrinth and burn in the XYZ event, where you are supposed to play XYZ cards. What if you play VWXYZ though? Also, there was somebody saying like, what was it? There was somebody saying, what's your favorite XYZ deck? Nobody in that thread actually wrote ABC. Not that that's like a fucking, like, depending on what you consider to be an XYZ deck, technically ABC could be an XYZ deck. Also, whoever put that clown, your mother does not love you. Hey, Gray. That was me, by the way. I did that. That was fucking funny. Look, I can prove it too. Oh, I can do another one? Wait. Can you do these like once a day? I didn't know you could do those once a day. Oh, Gray, you're getting a few more. Alright, fair enough. I just like the fact that it's like all those Asians. Because there's another post that happened earlier today while I was at work. And I managed to catch it in time. Because holy fuck. Was it funny as hell? I do play XYZ cards sometimes. I even summon them. Well, I can read your name, so you are fine. You don't have moon runes in your name, Tormented Salad. You gotta change your name. He needs to not be able to read it. What on earth is that supposed to mean, Lamau? I am the problem you're complaining about. Okay, so you may notice this guy's banned. I'll get into why he's banned in a minute. The damn waifu decks. There was Mando, there was somebody Admiral who posted like he plays a fucking like Horus and Kashtira deck. He loves talking about Horus and Kashtira and he does it in the most like broken ass English spelling. However, he spelled Horus incorrectly and he did it in such a way where I'm like, I'm sorry, you play a whore deck? A whores deck? Like what? I was like so blown away. I was like, there's no way. The Devon special. Gotta give us people a master duel, the fucking Devon special. Play fucking Fairy Injection Lily. I'm like, but dude, I've never, like, you can just call them tier limits. You don't have to call them whores. That's fine. That's totally fine. But whatever. Whores and Kashtira. Sorry, yes.
Yes, Horus is Danger Darkweld rule. But why TF? I need to fight Snake Eye. They didn't have XYZ.
This is such a tame post in comparison to what I'm about to show you after this one. No, you're not. Your name isn't Korean, Chinese, or Japanese. They specifically say Asians. Get it right. They're a bit racist, but at least they're honest about it. And as for the purpose of this argument, you aren't allowed to be of any Asian ethnicity. Oh my god, fucking tongue twister. It's based entirely on your name being in English. Damn right. Told me to get out of here. What are you doing? I can change my username to Korean, I guess. It'd be a problem then, huh? I totally missed that. It must be hard living life like that. I went against 3 Sundex in a row while bricking. Very cool. Damn, I also don't know how to say this guy's name, but he's constantly here. Knud Den Store? Close enough. So, about this guy. Where is he? About this guy. So, while I was at work, I was like, you know what? I'll check to see if anybody, you know, said anything recently. Surely there'll be something funny. And my brother in Christ, made a cool post pretty similar to this one. A little more unhinged though. And thusly got a cool clown award afterwards, after the fact. And I'm assuming got banned because I can no longer find the post, and the post has been deleted. And I'm pretty sure that was the catalyst, but you're in luck because here is the post. It's in horrendous quality, but this is what was said.
Problems with Chinese name Meta Sheep. Man, they only play Snake Eye, Rescue Ace, or Fire King, and rarely played Kashtira and Tearlaments or Branded. I noticed that since a few months ago, they started to appear Is Konami merging server or what? After taking a break from this redacted ass game, do tell me if this is not just me somehow matched against them by a redacted RNG.
I don't know what this word could be, by the way. This one? By a something RNG. Exactly, Mando. Exactly. So there's two comments after this. I do have the comment saved. But like, I really wanted to respond with this being like, oh, these fucking English speaking people coming in from America with their fucking Dark Magician Blue Eyes decks. Can't even play a real fucking deck. Fuck. Oh my god. But nah, dude, specifically the Chinese meta sheep, of course, bro. Of course. It's not like, you know, the game is a huge hit in Asian regions. Definitely not. Specifically on mobile. Definitely not. No way. Anyway. G3 got to it so fast. If you're wondering where the fucking thingies came from, the little emoji thingies, they're from me, because, you know, I thought it was kind of funny what this guy responded with. Opens with xenophobia. Says something a scrub or Yuki Boomer would say. Calling the deck brain dead instead of branded. Yeah, this usually happens, but I'm surprised he didn't. Claims they hate the game, but continues to follow and or play the game.
What? Are you praising me? Oh, thank you.
Yeah, praise. Praise, by the way. Also, hold on. I did end up doing some research on this guy, and I just wanted to see what other stuff he posts or whatever. What else he fucking said? Like, what decks does he use and stuff like that? Sure enough, this was one of the posts he had. Now, I have a few questions about this. Okay.
Quill Porth support needed. This is my deck, and how do I improve it?
So I'm not a Quill player, all right, but just based on like what this deck is, I am insulted that this is even like real, because my brother in Christ has like literally one card in the extra deck. Also, like that he's got Vanity's Ruler, by the way. Literally one card though. Also, is this this isn't back to square one. This is like loser turn or something, right? This card. I can't exactly enhance. Hold on, maybe I can. It doesn't display better on screen. But no, he's got the quills. He's got whatever pot that is. Summoners are, he's got things. He's got things there. Something. Now, I don't understand this guy. I'm not in his head or anything like that. But boy, does he have some interesting stuff to say about it. So, it needs support since many years ago, same name as many other decks of similar eras. Now, for some reason, in response to this, our anime protagonist writes,
"The deck is just too racist."
What does this mean? I don't understand. Is it because of the Chinese people? Is that why? Playing this to counter flus. How do they? I guess they probably would limit. I don't know what quills actually do, but I'm assuming they would stop normal summons or something like that. It's my guess anyway. Huh? Yeah, bullfart. I don't understand what this guy means by the deck is too racist. I feel like this fucking just came out of nowhere. Like, is it because the deck is like, neglected by Konami? You resort to it being racist? Like, alright. But then, yeah, he actually gets some good support. Damn, thanks everyone. Yeah, thanks, bro. Thanks. Also, this is the actual post I wanted to read tonight. This is the main event that I wanted to get into. Because holy shit, I'm ready to drink a water for this one. I saw this as it was unfolding, and I'm like, there's no way this guy actually thinks like this. But turns out this guy is just absolutely crazy. But crazy in a fun way. So,
casual league, please? Allow players to vote after each match if the opponent was playing a meta deck or not. If a player gets labeled with meta 3 times in a week, he gets kicked out of the casual league for the entire week. That way, players who want to have fun can have fun. And players who want to play tournament decks can play those with other meta players. It will make the game more enjoyable for all.
First off, I like that Arcanite knows exactly what everybody wants. He knows what every player wants in the world. Here's the thing, and I know this is going to get brought up later, but Master Duel isn't really for fun. You know, like, there's solo mode and stuff, but I don't think this is the go-to game if you want to have fun playing Yu-Gi-Oh! This is more of like the competitive side of Yu-Gi-Oh! This is like, let's say, queuing for Tekken matchmaking versus like just playing the story mode, alright? Like, yeah? Yeah. Just want to have fun, bro. I don't want to learn the combos. I just want to button mash, please. Let me. But this somehow devolved into so much stuff. Like, one of the big hitters was the fact that everybody, this is why I mentioned at the start of the stream, like, everybody has different opinions on what they think is casual, and this guy probably views, like, very non-meta decks as meta. Gameplay is not try hard. What if I could speak to this guy, which maybe I'll friend him, we'll see. If I could speak to him, I would like to tell him, just get to plat 5 and then just sit in plat 5. Just stay in plat 5. Like, D-rank as much as you can to just stay in plat 5. It's the only rank in the game where you genuinely get to have fun. Like, if you're looking for fun, that's the place to sit. Because anything in, like, rookie, gold, bronze, silver, all of that stuff is just people trying to get through the ranks. So you're going to be seeing, like, a lot of quote-unquote meta decks in those ranks, as opposed to plat 5. There's a good chance, like, I would say, based on the streams, like 50% that you're gonna end up running into somebody who's running a fucking meme deck or some shit, as opposed to, like, actual competitive play. The only way. But I don't think Arcanite would ever gonna make it to plat, but, you know, if he can, like, stay there. It's easy to get back to it with each season. It's fine. Anyway, on my way to report every deck I lose to as a meta deck. This is also something interesting, by the way, because this would happen without a doubt. Like, this quote-unquote hypothetical rule would get abused by many people just because they are unfair or, like, don't like people. Like, let's say you're using your, like, normal summon pile and you lose to Dark Magicians. Well, that's a meta deck because you lost to it and they summoned, like, more than 3 times. Like, fuck. Before the end of the first week, I will turn into the Losers League. What casual league? What casual league? Kind of like the Special Olympics, but for card games only. Ah, yes, understandable. Brainstorm. There's some comments in here I didn't actually notice, because I mainly focused it on this guy. Oh, they did change their name. This was this person, I believe, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was the, but they changed the name. Interesting. Now I can read it. They're Ziggy. I can read their name. Just stay in silver and gold if that's what you want. So Rainstorm, this is why I say plat 5, because again, plat 5 is the technically the lowest rank. Technically, like, it's not rookie, it's not bronze, it's plat 5. That's where you get all the shitters. All right.
You won't play against the same player 3 times.
You already don't play against the same player 3 times. How the fuck have you run into the same player 3 times consecutively? Like, are you sure about this, mate? You sure? Special Olympics for games.
It's not, because the people in casual aren't bad at the game. They just play fun decks instead of 5-minute turns, 3 hand traps, 5 negate boards, or spamming all game.
Now, if there are non-meta decks that can do this, do you think those are meta? Do you think those are meta decks?
That's exactly right, Mando. Like, here's the thing. I want to use Hero as an example for this because if you go back a couple years, Hero's pretty shit. All right. Specifically E-Heroes and stuff. But since the new support, like, you know, Liquid Soldier, Ian Shuffle, Shining Neo Swingman, Infernal Rage, and all that shit, like, and Sunrise as well, it like kind of, you don't really like lose anything when making a fusion anymore. So, because you'll always get it replaced, like you'll always get something back into your hand, whether it be like a draw 2, shuffle back 1 or some shit like that. Like, you're gonna get something out of it. You get some form of recovery. Like, can that still be considered casual? Like, I don't know, because like the more like modern you go, the more like powerful just standard effects get. It gets brought up in this particular thread, but Mayakashis are an interesting example where it's an old archetype, but their gimmick is so fucking annoying. Like, it's just not fun. It's just, well, unless you're using them, they're pretty fun. I'm actually surprised that card isn't banned. I'm guessing because it can only make, you get locked into Mayakashis, but it's just so funny that every time you synchro summon, it keeps bringing itself back over and over and over and over again. And you can keep link climbing the exact same way with the link Mayakashi as well. You just vomit your whole extra deck onto the field. Like, check out my extra deck, bro, and then you just fucking put it all down. The gimmick with it makes sense, because every time your Mayakashi gets destroyed, it goes back down a tier, and you have to build it back up again. It's like a tower essentially. I like the idea of it, but this guy probably would hate the fuck out of it. Also, Arcanite, can we stick to 5-minute turns specifically? I saw it again, by the way, today. I saw it again and it pissed me off. But like, turns being like, oh yeah, you know, 5-minute turns. That way you don't have to get stuck playing 10-minute turns. That way you don't have to get stuck playing 10-minute plus turns. And it's like, bro, is it 5 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? Is it more than 10 minutes? Like, how long are your turns? I just never get it. Every time somebody brings up turn length, it's always different. It's always different. I'll never understand why. Bro, I think the time limit is subjective, alright? Everybody has a different opinion on how long the turns go for. Sorry, Casual League's an oxymoron. Just stay in silver and gold.
It needs a way to improve the meta. I just copy-pasted a deck list from a tournament, from the casual pool of people.
Sorry, hang on, wait.
I just copied and pasted a deck list from a tournament. From the casual pool of people, I just want to play a Light Sword Alien Planet Dino deck because they are fun. And I like nostalgia and having fun instead of waiting 5 minutes for my turn to come.
5 minutes isn't that long, my guy. And you know, your opponent isn't going to be fucking spamming that much shit. Fucking hell, cunt. Like, please.
For my turn to come and look at 5 negates and get my Rescue Rabbit negated by a hand trap from a HDD addict with a meta deck.
Why is there a what? Hang on. How much of this is? Oh, all of this. All of this is a quote. Oh, okay. That's a very specific quote from a vocal minority of people. But all right, I understand. Also, Arcanite, I don't know if you've just like woken up yesterday, but Master Duel is like a competitive game. Like, I don't understand, man. It's like I know the comparison was made the other day about Call of Duty, but it's like, you know, come into like a Call of Duty game where it's like, why is everybody using guns? I'm here to play knife only. What? Like, why the fuck? Why is everybody using these bullets and shit? No. Come on now. Everyone should be playing how exactly I want to play, please. That's how things should go, alright? Also, I feel like this is a bit disingenuous. It gets brought up a lot about the whole homebrewing decks versus, like, you know, like net decking from a net decker or some shit.
my guy, I don't know how to tell you this, but like, when you want to know what synergizes with what, it's so much easier to just look at somebody who's already made the deck. And oh, actually, I guess speaking of this as well, I do have a pet peeve with particular deck showcases related to Master Duel in a sense. I fucking hate deck showcases that cherry pick replays that show off the deck as best as possible, and the replays are fucking awful. Well, awful is in the fact like 9 times out of 10 you'll be going first, and it's like, no, that's not how reality is. Okay, you don't just go first every single match. That's not how that works. You should probably have an even number of like firsts and seconds in your deck showcase to just give you an idea of what it's like going second as well as going first. Because yeah, every deck going first can do its whole fucking combo. I don't give a shit. All right, I want to know how it plays around other bullshit. Okay, this is mainly in relation to like super quantums, because I did look up a fucking little super quantum list and I was like, you know what, I'll check it out. And then it was absolute fucking god awful, because I like the, I also don't know where that people find these fucking individuals for their replays, because there's a certain segment that was like, oh yeah, versing Kashtira, and like the opponent just puts down Unicorn and passes. That wasn't Kashtira, my guy. That was just a fucking robot. What are you talking about? Nobody who plays Kashtira puts down Unicorn and passes. What the fuck? Or there was another one where it was like versing Snake Eyes, and the Snake Eyes player summons down fucking Poplar, makes Link Karibo, passes. Like, motherfucker, these aren't real players, alright? Yeah. No matter what, if a Snake Eyes player puts down Poplar, makes Link Karibo, and passes, you're gonna win, alright? It doesn't fucking matter what else is in the deck, you're gonna win against that. Like, I just find it very disingenuous to show off a deck list like that and like try to promote like, you know, look at how cool it is. I'm like, bro, these replays don't really do it justice. Like at all. Very specific scenarios, but you know, whatever. Anyway, this guy wants people to play how he wants to play and no other way, please. Even if other people view casuals differently. Fun is subjective. Oh, I think you had a field day with this.
If I had it my way.
So this is the part where I was like, oh, I need to save this for like the stream. This is so good.
If I had it my way, I would instantly ban every hand trap that can negate more than one specific thing.
For example,
leaving Effect Veiler alone but banning Ash Blossom.
Now, is the reason for this because you like Yusei, or because Effect Veiler is somehow marginally better or a boomer card in comparison to Ash Blossom? Because this is a bit fucked. Going for a Master Duel. I wish they had different like formats for other players, especially people who want to play like Arcanite M. All right, like I'm sure Arcanite M would love to have GOAT format as a thing. Actually, no, he wouldn't, because I forgot his last post. Oh man, I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but holy shit, I don't think he would like GOAT format actually. I think he'd fucking hate it. But Edison format as well would be kind of nice. I would love to see a format of before links, basically, when pendulums are at their full strength, because I feel like pendulums kind of right now are a bit sucky. But to be fair, pendulums at full strength were like too good and a little bit insane. But it's fucking so weird to use pendulums now, because there's a few like specific cards you need to have in order to make them work, like the Metal Foes Electromite and Beyond the Pendulum and such. The deck is like useless without them.
Ban every Omni-Negate monster in the game that isn't archetype specific and is generic.
So if I were to use a Fluer Synchron deck, could I use Baron de Fluer? Just out of curiosity. It's technically archetype specific if I use a Fluer deck.
Ban every immune to card effects monster that isn't hard to bring out or game ender.
So like the Raid Raptor Satellite Dragon thing? Because I mean, I don't know, bro.
Ban every hand trap that isn't archetype specific.
So Effect Veiler? Bro, I thought you just wanted to leave Effect Veiler alone, and now you want to ban it? You're counteracting your own arguments here.
What archetype does Effect Veiler belong to? Can you explain to me? Please? Oh, it belongs in the Yusei archetype. I'm like, fuck off. All the archetype-specific stuff that escaped the ban list and has an Omni-Negate immunity to card effects get limited to 1. So what, Effect Veiler? Is that 1?
Bro, I want to give this guy like a week, because he wants a week to fix Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to give him a week and just see what happens. See what fucking chaos he unleashes on the world. Like, he makes Trinity format a main format.
Give me 1 week, Konami. I will fix Yu-Gi-Oh!
Again, back to the fun is subjective. Now, Arcanine, I see what he says here. Fun is subjective. This is a true statement. All you have to do is agree with it. Like, it's so, you can't like refute this, my guy. Everybody has a different opinion on the word fun. Please. That's right, Mando. That's the other thing too. Like, would he consider, because the Infinity Impermanence is like, it's a Cyber Dragon card, right? Technically, even though it can be used generically, but he probably wouldn't like that. There are people, I think, in this thread as well that say, you know, Infinite Permanence is nice, even though it's technically a hand trap, because it does have a bonus effect if you set it. Like, it's, but at that point, why not just use like Effect Veiler and shit, you know? Like, it's absurd. Also, yeah, just Cyber Dragons in general probably fucking ruin this guy's existence. Like, fuck. Also, I see what you mean now, because yeah, that does have a generic Omni Negate, but it is also technically part of an archetype, you know, in his hypothetical world. Again.
It is not subjective. If the gap between the loser and the winner is so large, then it isn't fun.
This is your opinion. Do you realize this is your opinion specifically?
The gap between them would ideally be as close as possible without removing the joy of victory from the victor.
No, that's not how your rules would work. It would be so boring and monotonous to play with like fucking 5 cards in the deck, and it just wouldn't matter. Just like wouldn't matter, bro. Like, this is something, it's so hard to try and explain to Arcanite Magician, where if you were to go back 20 years or so, all right, and you went back to like when Mirror Force was hanging about, and let's say you and your opponent were playing under like Nightmare Steel Cage for like 4 turns, and you both have a board, okay, and you know, you both got strong monsters in the field, whatever, and finally Nightmare Steel Cage goes away. You make the attack into them with like your 5 attack position monsters, and they use Mirror Force. Alright, and then your field is completely wiped and you have no recovery. And then your opponent's turn rolls around and they just completely swamp you with like all of their cards, and you don't have any back row or anything to save you. Is that fair? Arcanite Magician, would you consider that fun? Because I can imagine that a lot of people wouldn't consider that to be a fun scenario. And this be subjective, all right, according to your argument. Things like Dark Hole as well also existed. Like, Konami Yu-Gi-Oh! For, I think since its inception, was always about your opponent not getting to play the game, because you try to do everything in your disposal to stop your opponent from playing the game, whether it be through like spell removal, like back row removal, monster removal, just by beating over them. Like, you want to be better than your opponent and stop them from playing the game in any capacity. That's why Swords is like such a fucking uber card back in the day, because it would just lock your opponent from even doing the one thing that would net them the win condition. Like, what the fuck? But nah, bro, it's only now that the game has become about, you know, not getting to play the game. Definitely not before. Crazy how that is. No chance. That is true, yeah. Well, okay, there's also the other thing to Arcanite's point, specifically up here, though. Because, oh, man, Yu-Gi-Oh! This is Azura kind of filled me in on this, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Has had, like, generic shit since, like, day one. And it is so crazy to me that if you were to ban all of the generic nonsense, a lot of rogue decks that are, like,
you know, are able to squeak out a victory here and there, whether it even be for like Typhon or Zeus, just to like give them the edge. That wouldn't be possible anymore. You wouldn't be able to have that victory. So your opponent would just win by a fucking landslide. Because you don't have like the, you know, in quotation marks, the out to help you in a very like unwinnable scenario. I guess if Arcanite was in the room with me, like astral projecting right next to me, he'd be like, well, in that case, your deck shouldn't have won, you know? In that case, your deck just wasn't good enough, you know? Maybe you shouldn't be using it. I'll be like, thanks, Arcanite, but I find it fun. It's my version of fun. What if I want to use normal monster beatdown, okay? What if I want to use that? Can I not? Also, this is where it came up, by the way. This is I laughed my fucking ass off at this because of his response. So, can I play Mayakashi?
Yeah, I assume. I never heard of it before, or never heard or saw it before.
This is so funny because there's a Mayakashi solo mode, by the way. I did it on stream, and that's where I learned about the whole link climbing thing, and I was like, what? What? It just does that, and it's not banned? What? It's so stupid. But, Arcanite, please. You'll say that's a meta deck so fast, bro. So fast. That whole deck is nothing but a combo. It does nothing but combo. You think other decks waste your time? Wait and see what Mayakashi is capable of. You will surrender. Close your computer, leave for work, come back, have dinner, sleep, and the deck will still somehow be doing its combo. I like that Ziggy copied this. I should actually copy that in itself and just keep that somewhere because that is a very funny quote. Nah, I'll pass. The fact that you don't know... The fact that you don't know it, then you're gonna hate the deck because of your rules, and the rules in quotation mark. People really be trying to give Master Duel into a BK. Gotta have it their way. What is a BK? Not sure. Call dibs on Flower Guardians. Oh, Tunnel Sharks, you'll fucking ruin this guy's day. Oh my god. This guy was... Oh, right, this is a new person, actually. And that is why it's a good thing that you don't have it your way. If every little Timmy had the power to force other people to play the way he wanted, this game would have actually been dead already. Instead of some salty boomer coming here every few days to tell people how hard the game is dying for the past 2 years. Burger King. could be. Oh, yeah, I guess maybe. To Burger King. Oh, you gotta have it. Oh, so there's no Burger King where I live, right? Because we got Hungry Jack's. I don't know this tagline. That makes sense, though. One of the few decks that make me sweat. Dude, fucking Flower Guardians are wild. I feel like if you don't have Ash against Flower Guardians, well... Or Droll, actually. Droll would be good against Flower Guardians. Well, then you're kind of fucked.
Bad idea, but you're onto something. Doom Eternal had this thing with Battle Mode 1.0, where you could ask your opponent for a rematch. So equally skilled players could just keep playing, and maybe change decks. But of course, we have rooms for that.
Yeah, giving random people the ability to punish the opponent who beat them is a great idea that will have no negative repercussions at all. The Yu-Gi-Oh community is infamous for its reasonable and well-behaved players after all. This is very true, Papa Shekels, 100%. Everyone is so nice in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. On a more serious note, the problem that would be the players would never agree on what is good enough or not. The Dark Magician is a nice casual deck, right? What about Dark Magician with Shadows? And since this is where I think you draw the line, I think what Arcanite is advocating for is having one archetype in the deck. And if your deck doesn't have enough cards for an archetype, it's not a deck. All right? Like, you need to be playing stuff like, you can't use Dynamorphia, for example. That's got like no cards in the deck. You can't have out-of-engine cards, essentially. Or, sorry, non-engine cards. It has to be everything related to your archetype. The pissed emoji option in the game. God, if only. But I think he'd... Because that's where, like... If you ban hand traps and stuff like that, then you will have to make this ruling where you limit it to specifically only one archetype. Like, let's say there's enough cards in Madolchi to make a deck out of Madolchis without, like, incursioning on, like, other archetypes, for example, to get sort of an engine going, like Snake Eyes Fire King, for example. But at that point, and also, like, fucking, they have a spell trap negate and a monster negate, like, in the archetype. But I don't know, it's just weird because, like, I don't know, man. Like, with his rulings, fucking Madolchis would be considered meta, alright? Because, yeah, they do a pretty disgusting combo, but, like, he honestly probably would consider them to be meta. They're pretty good. Like, they're honestly pretty good, but my goodness. Since the shadows are there, how about adding a small tier element engine? What if instead it's pure Dark Magician, but playing a small Dia Bellstar package to search Roselia for that level 7 spellcaster energy synergy? What about I don't know if this is this, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't know what that is. What about Gen X deck that plays Baron de Fleur and a Psychic and Punisher? Those are filthy meta slave cards that don't belong in casual, right? Even for a deck that takes 3 turns and has to dump its whole hand to make them. Wait, Gen X making fucking Baron, that'd be funny. I mean, I guess it's possible, alright. That's how I feel about the Ignite deck, is where, like, you can practically make any fucking high rank generic XYZ deck with Ignites, but the problem is, at that point, is it still Ignites, though? Like, maybe this is where my boomer casualness is coming into play, where I feel like this, maybe, again, if I could ask Arcanite, if I could ask him in person, I'd be like, hey man, like, do you have to have an archetypal boss monster in your deck, and do you have to summon it with your deck? Is that important? Or can you use, like, other boss monsters, like, I don't know, like, you know, Baron, for example, or Psychic and Punisher? Like, can you use those if you're able to make them? Are those allowed, or will those be banned? Like, for example, with Ignites, if I wanted to use Ignites, am I forced to using the Ignis to Prominence, the Blasting Draco Slayer? Or is that considered a Draco Slayer card? In order to use that, I'd have to use Draco Slayer stuff. Like, because now you're bridging the gap here. Like, I don't know if, like, for example, Kashtiras and Tearlaments and Scareclaws, like, is it possible to combine that deck, or is that too meta? Alright, and if you want to have a Tearlament deck, it's got to be just Tearlaments. No Kashtiras, nothing else, just Tearlaments. Like, what if the card literally says Tearlament Kashtira, and then, like, can I branch from there? Whatever, anyway. Even for a deck... Oh, yeah. Where is the objective line going to be for every single combination of cards that people want to play for their decks? And what objective measure will you find for what is and isn't fun to bring to this format? Weren't unaffected? Oh my god. That's true, Mando. I've been told Pearlies are pretty good in the XYZ event as well that's currently going on. I don't have a Pearly deck, unfortunately, but I've heard they're pretty good. Oh. Speaking of where he's gonna draw the line, if Arcanite is watching this in the future, or I don't know, he somehow finds me, Arcanite, let me give you my personal interpretation of what I would consider to be a quote-unquote casual deck. First off, everything in a deck limited to 1. It needs to be anime styled, okay? None of that, like, 3-copy bullshit. 1 of every card, okay? 2, it does have to be themed somewhat around a specific thing. Whether that be fucking, I don't know, rank 4 XYZs or something. Just themed around something. Something that, like, I don't know, you enjoy. But the problem is, that would get boring so fucking fast. Like, you'd play it 3 times, that'd be it. That'd be enough. Because, like, using a hero pile would be fun, but after, like, the 4th or 5th fucking fusion summon, it's like, well, now what? Running out of extra deck monsters pretty fast. I've ran into that problem as well. I have a funny, like, quote, I have a funny deck that I would consider, quote unquote, casual if I had it in real life. But unfortunately, no, it's not good. It's like not even close to being like anywhere near good. That's like something I'd verse Dark Magicians with. It's fucking trash. Bad as fuck. But, you know, that's just my opinion on what I personally would consider to be a casual deck. Alright? Maybe he wants table 500 stuff. Certainly nothing degenerate there. Flying Elephant combo deck is about to go crazy! Flying Elephant combo deck. I fucking haven't seen that.
Can I, have a rank 7 turbo, hold the Kashtira, extra Dark Magician, double Order of Dragoonity, not the Dragon Link special please, just the deck, and a diet Karakuri.
I would laugh if this was like the fucking big smoke order, like 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra anyway, that's Assassin. Instead of banning people, maybe they should implement something along the lines as duel rooms, but for casual mode, where you can select a format to play, and you only face people that have the same format that you have selected. Dwagon Boyo, welcome to the stream as well. Thank you for the follow as well. Now that'll dilute the player in casual by a lot most likely. So you'll have long waiting times for some formats. I mean, this makes more sense than what Arcanite was like fucking advocating for with this fucking bullshit. Like, bro, no, please. Also, Mando, thank you for the follow as well. What was it? But yeah, being able to queue up for a specific format that you would enjoy makes more sense. You know, Konami's never going to do it, but that would make more sense and is probably more plausible than Arcanite's fucking ramblings. So, there will be some sort of meta in these formats, but that's just the reality of the game.
It's not like this is an option.
That's why I said Plat 5. That's why Plat 5 specifically. Unfortunately, even if it was, it probably would still be filled with people wanting to use strong decks against newer and more inexperienced players for easier wins. I mean, that's just the nature of like PvP gaming in general. Oh, I think this is where it begun. So, do you really think this will make the game more enjoyable? It sounds like you're wanting a system that will be literally pointless after a few weeks because of the amount of Salt Lords that will still play this game 2 years later, even though apparently it's dead and bad and not worth playing. I like that there's a complaint that Master Duel and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying and it'll never get better. It's awful. And it's like, nah, bro, what are you talking about? It's like, no, only you hate the game, my guy, please. No. The game's great. What are you talking about? We'll just make it where everyone gets labeled as a meta user. Not to mention, I've literally seen people call Utopia meta. Meta to a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players just means deck I find too powerful and want nerfed. This is the most accurate statement you could say to this. There's a friend of mine who uses the Utopia deck, and personally, I am blown away with what Utopia is capable of just inside of its own engine, without any other nonsense or any other like random ass level 4s. It's just like Utopia by itself with like Gagagas and shit. It's like, fucking hell, dude, you hitting me for like 50,000 attack. What the fuck? Anyway, kind of makes me wonder where the whole most effective tactic available nonsense started when people talk about meta, but that's another topic entirely, I guess. I do wonder when the word meta started to get warped into something entirely different than what it was initially meant to be, or I read that completely wrong, but same concept. There's a whole deck is combo.
Well, never saw anyone play it.
Again, my guy, you can go load up single player right now and check it out. DDD isn't meta, it's a casual deck. I haven't seen anybody use DDDs, by the way, not recently. I know they had a whole bunch of support that I've never seen, and I would love to see what the deck does. It's a casual deck. It's also a deck that, due to its restrictions, can barely interact with anything outside of its own archetype. Face that deck once, and you'll cry for it to be banned.
Nope. I already played against it many times. It's okay. It looks enjoyable too.
Did you, like, win against the deck at all? Or, like, are you sure you versed the right version of the deck? Like, what do you use, Arcanite? And how did that go against DDDs? I'm just curious. Like, when you said fun was not subjective and that the difference between winning and losing is like huge, is that what happened during that battle? I'm just genuinely curious. Then you probably played against someone, or played against people that don't know how to use it. Depending on the hand, it gives 2 special summon negates, multiple I can steal your monster and turn it into an XYZ material, 3 to 4 usually, a monster negate, and a yoink via headhunt. And depending on the rest of my hand, a spell and trap negate that can negate even Dark Ruler no more, or Forbidden Droplet. Potentially a fully untargetable board. And you can only Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, or Link summon once per turn. Once per turn each. On average, you can expect 4 to 7 interactions from a 1 to 2 card combo, a 1 card combo from its normal starters, guaranteed a 4 to 5 interactions. DDDs sound kinda nuts. I would love to try them out one day, but they seem too complicated for me. Any of those decks that have like Odd Eyes, for example, has the same concept where it's got XYZs, links, pendulums, synchros, and fusions like all in the one bundle. I'm like, Jesus Christ, mate. I just want to stick to one type, please. I can't fucking do them all. Sorry, in hindsight, these posts are really good PR for Konami. It's not like Konami are the ones putting any effort into this. Yet, these posts make you realize that they're actually not doing so bad at managing their game when directly confronted with how much worse it could be. Yeah, imagine if Konami implemented whatever the fuck Arcanite wants. Jesus Christ. Table 500 is, if anything, more degenerate. It's just fragile or it doesn't have the tendency to win the game with its deranged combo. Like Flower Guardian combos for 10 billion years to end on a board that would lose to full goat control. Hold up. What do you mean Zephyr's banned? Hang on. Zephyr, what are you doing, mate? What have you been posted? I actually don't know how Zephyr got banned. Actually, you know, I have the potential now. Zephyr and I are best friends. I can just ask him, right? Where's he at? Hang on, here he is. All right. There we go. I mean, what would be so funny is if Zephyr said something in this thread that got him banned. That would be funny as fuck. But we'll see what he says. I'm just curious.
Look, while I agree,
I'll use the fucking, like, the Arbush voice with it.
Look, while I agree meta decks are a huge issue, this wouldn't really fix it. This would only be a really abusable system for everyone, meta deck users included.
Wow, this is, like, yeah, actually, yes.
Think of it this way. If you make a deck that redacts on meta decks, and have been doing pretty well, only for those meta deck users to be a bunch of bitter redacteds that hate your deck just destroyed their super special tier 0 meta slop deck they just copied off from someone else, because their worthless life is nothing without Cheetos and ruining Yu-Gi-Oh! For everyone else, and report you as using a meta deck, kicking you out of casual league, whatever it is.
I mean, I think there are a lot of projections in this particular thing, but he's on the right track. That's what would happen, yes. If you just don't like the other person, you could just report them as a quote-unquote meta deck user. It doesn't matter if they're using a quote-unquote meta deck or not. You could just report them as such, and thus would get them kicked out of the casual league they enjoy so much. Like, that's just a fault of Arcanite's fucking design. Fun is not subjective.
Fun is one of the most subjective topics in video games. While I agree that Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't fun in the slightest in its current iteration,
I think Dark Souls 3, Warhammer 40k, Inquisitor, and Paradox strategy games are fun. I mean, Dark Souls 3 is pretty fun. I have not played this or Paradox strategy. I don't know what the fuck. Oh, like, no, I don't know what Paradox makes. But yeah, I think Dark Souls 3 is pretty fucking fun. Been enjoying Elden Ring so far. Also, after the thing with like Chloe, the fact that Zephyr comes in and is like fun is the most subjective topic, that's pretty impressive. Like Arcanite, I don't know how to tell you this, Arcanite, but my brother in Christ, even Zephyr is calling you out, saying that fun is subjective. Arcanite, please respond. This, however, would be interesting to see. Would make for a great event to test. True, actually. I want to give him the keys for just a day and just see what happens. I want to see how many things get banned. Like, he'll fucking unban Magical Scientist. There's only strong decks, more experienced players. Yep, and from what I've heard, the game has an issue with meta slop lovers smurfing, which is pretty scummy if true. Unfortunately, this does seem to be unavoidable. I don't do it because I like having my same account on, you know, my phone and other places just so I can continue playing the decks that I have. But, you know, if you're like Catrix and you want to have a shitload of decks, alright, like a metric fuck ton of like all the decks in the game, you are limited with deck space, or deck slots, I should say. So it is technically more efficient to create a new account, claim the free gems, and continue making more decks on other systems. But that also does open you up to using more powerful decks in lower ranks just to get through stuff. The only way you'd normally, because like I think master players get ranked down to diamond, I think diamond or maybe plat, like when the season resets. I think it's diamond. So you're not going to be seeing people who like were good in the last season back in like bronze and shit, but you will be seeing decks like that because people want to make, you know, more decks without spending too much money. And in order to do that, well, you start up a new account. Just how it is, I guess. Never saw anyone play it. That's cause it's ass. Oh, I made a deck myself that was part of my Akashi part Shiranui. There's a lot of decks that can do a lot more for a lot less. I should try tweaking it sometime, but this would be interesting to see because I know they're like opposites, but I wonder if they're like I wonder if they complement each other. I don't know if they can, because I feel like from my Akashi you're gonna have to have a full extra deck, and Shiranui's would also have to have like a pretty hefty extra deck. I don't know, I'm trying to compare this to something. It's like if you were to compare like, I don't know, Elemental Heroes and Destiny Heroes, and then it's like, yeah, but my extra deck is like fucking 4,000 cards. Like, yeah, right. It just wouldn't synergize. I don't know how these would synergize. I think they're zombies, right? Both deck types. In my eyes, any deck that has crafted cards is a meta deck. The best way to implement a casual mode is an anti-crafting cup regulation event. Any card that you ever crafted becomes forbidden, along with all cards of the same name. I want to stomp on everyone with my full power Rika Son of Alon deck. So Konami could technically implement this like tomorrow, and it wouldn't rock the world. They have the fucking technology to do this because they know what's crafted and what's not crafted. I would probably personally prefer to see a legacy pack event where you can only use cards gained from legacy packs, because I feel like the power scaling is much smaller in legacy packs, excluding fucking Karibo and shit. But I don't even think like then like a deck like that would be pretty strong or powerful, because this also includes, because I know in the legacy pack you can get cards that are being promoted through the XYZ event and like subsequent other events like the WCQ and whatnot, like slash draw and stuff that was prominent rewards can also be like obtained in the legacy packs. They're just more fucking common. Regardless, that would be the most GOAT formatting you could get without specifically being GOAT format, just by having a deck that's designed around legacy format. Because I think even it's not
like, for example, I know Elemental Hero Terra Firma is one of like the cover cards, but I shit you know, I bet the fucking cards that you need for Terra Firma, like fucking Swamp Man and Ocean, aren't in the fucking pack. So like, what a cool deck to use. But no, at that point you'd get people just making like piles of stuff, like just stuff. Like I don't even know if there's anything good that synergizes with anything else in the legacy packs at all outside of Karibos. The only reason why I say Karibos is because I know that all of the Karibos come in the legacy packs, all of the ones needed for like a Karibo deck anyway. While we do have other formats and a casual league of some kind with a simpler experience, this won't do that. If you wanted voting, it could have been actual voting, where everyone in the game can vote on cards, and the other ones with majority votes get banned, or maybe even brought back. Relying on three random people to decide your fate will just mean people trolling others, or having a bad day, and will ban your Summon a Skull beatdown deck because it beat them. This is true. Everyone seems to have caught on to the fact that there's a loophole in the fake, like, hypothetical rule he's made. Like, yeah, it's a bit of a problem, mate. Also, it's already gotten so cold, my fucking lips are freezing. Literally sitting inside of a freezer right now. What was I getting at? Zebby, I saw your post from earlier, mate. Zebby, I can't play Apex Legends. I don't have fucking Apex Legends, my guy. Not on PC, but I appreciate the invite. Thank you so much. What was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, I don't know if it got brought up in this thread, but I like the idea. There's a tournament that exists somewhere where every time somebody beats it, or whatever happens, and whenever the tournament ends, the top like 10 decks or whatever get banned, and whatever cards are in those decks get banned from the next tournament. I like that concept a lot. Like a lot. I think that's really cool. Because eventually the power level will get down so far to like where people are just using like, well, you know, Summon Skull Beatdown, for example. Like, that is so fucking funny to me. It would be cool if that was also a thing that could happen in Master Duel, but that's probably a little bit too much effort for Konami to put into, and it's just not worth. Even if you could automate it by like having, you know, the lists from all the people that won or reached dual level max or whatever, just ban those fucking decks that got there. The cards that happened at that time. Anyway, Mayakashi has an entire solo mode. Who the fuck is this person? That's never going to work. Let's say I play something like Red Eye's Bestial deck, which, by all objective standards, the word objective has gotten thrown around so much in the last couple days, is not anywhere near what one could reasonably call a meta deck. But everyone who loses to it after getting hit by a Bestial would just claim that it is. The only way how something like a casual league can work is if we all had an AI which was capable of assessing how good a deck is, and then match people based up on what assessment, but we aren't anywhere close to that. Actually, this could be implemented, because I know a lot of people want to bring up the idea that, oh man, your opponents are rigged, your hands are rigged, your decks are rigged, like that kind of bullshit. But Konami does have the information on what cards are more used than other cards, and technically you could have, if you attributed points to that, like let's say the more, like, you know, Maxi is a really used card, right? If you have one Maxi in your deck and that's like a 90% usage rate, depending on the amount of cards you have in the deck, let's say you gain X amount of points for that, okay, that adds to a total, okay? You will then be matched with people who have similar point range to what you have gotten, all right? That's probably going to be a lot more effort when it comes to queuing up for a game, and probably would take longer to queuing up for a game as well. But it would be this, and it would be interesting to see people paired up with like from a personal standpoint, again, this is why I would like to, because people complain about creativity so much, like every other day, I swear to God. But like, it would be neat to see what a deck with no cards above 0.001 usage rate would look against another deck with no cards above 0.001 usage rate. This includes win rate and stuff like that too, like win rate at time of appearance, finisher rank, and any other fucking tallier like that. It would just be cool to see, because when crafting a deck, there's no way to see that information outside of a replay. It would be cool to see that stuff when crafting a deck. I think you actually, maybe you probably can look it up on Master Duel Meta or something like that, because I know there's a bunch of like statistics over there. Because I want to know what a deck would look like if you took out all of the, you know, higher used cards, so to speak. But that's a topic for another day. Combo. Come on, it's not that bad. Oh, come on, it's not that bad. It takes a bit over a minute to complete the opening. A little over a minute, you know, 10 minutes to some people. Actually, oh, no need to cram AI into this. We already have you. Oh, actually, he said it. We already have usage statistics for cards, and even the win rates. Fertilized bestials wouldn't be anywhere near meta level, but still acquire above everything else. Or everything, not using stupidly powerful bestial cards. He came back, by the way. Pretty semi-true.
Yeah, I can't convince any friends who play IRL Yu-Gi-Oh! To try this game, because they played, got wrecked by decks they refuse to play against in real life. It's an annoying state of affairs.
Do your friends also play pet decks? Like, just out of curiosity, Arcanite, do your friends also play with, like, shit tier decks like Dark Magician and stuff? I'm just curious, alright? I just want to know. Like, because personally, from my own experience, yeah, it is kind of hard for me to get one of my friends to play this, because he likes Light Swans and plays, like, Melodious Divas and stuff, and doesn't like versing shit like Snake Eyes and Kashtiras and stuff like that. He fucking hates that, like, fucking meta scum bullshit. But, like, still play IRL, you know? Like, got that. I don't know. It's just... that's when you're, like, digging into, like, the playground style. Like, if you enjoy playground Yu-Gi-Oh, more power to you, alright? But it's just so hard to convince somebody who enjoys playground Yu-Gi-Oh to try and pick up Master Duel for the first time. Like, that's never gonna happen, bro. It's never gonna happen. As a past Mayakashi player, the funniest part of the deck is consistently shouting, "I Synchro Shokan," repeatedly, over and over and over again. Fucking hell. Oh yeah, this thing. Light Swans, Dinos, and Plants have made tops in major tournaments in the past. Therefore, they are meta and not allowed in your casual league. That's your 3 strikes to get voted out of your own league. So his comeback to this is interesting to me, because when you say something is meta, and granted, like, meta in the past is nowhere near the power level it is now, it is still, if he were to ban a bunch of cards, alright, and put things on a more even playing field, you know, there are really strong decks out there that, you know, were meta in the past, and people would still see that as meta. Alright, here we go.
It is what it is. Just because it was meta years ago doesn't mean it is now. I also play spellbooks.
Oh, dude, don't you just love spellbooks?
Vampires, Dark Worlds, Geishki, fucking Geishkis, bro, with your Omni Negates, bro, please. Arcanite, Magician Assault, and Alien. How do you play Arcanite Magician Assault and not like the other assault modes? And Aliens. Well, I wouldn't call them meta, but I wouldn't call them GX era friendly.
I mean, it depends if you're using actual, just, like, full-on Arcanite Magician Assault mode, like, straight up, and nothing else.
They are 5Ds and Zexal era friendly. That's what I would consider casual to be.
Now, do you mean, like, early Zexal or, like, late Zexal? Alright. And when you say vampires, are you including Vampire Sucker and the other Vampire Link monster as well? Just out of curiosity, you know, just out of curiosity. Also, aliens, bro? That's pretty GX friendly. I'm using an alien deck right now in there. Cool, bro.
Dark Road, Alien, and Vampire are GX archetypes. So, oh yeah, true. There were a couple of Vampire GX cards. That's where I'm wondering, like, what do you have in your Vampire deck? Because I imagine you're probably gonna have, like, you know, Vampire Sucker, considering that's a pretty good rank 2 for vampires. Oh, Coney, are you gonna ask me for your? Yep, there it is. Thanks, Coney. I appreciate it. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll hit you up on Discord. Maybe one day.
They received modern support to bring them up.
Are you using the modern support though? Because then that makes them meta.
Most of the vampire cards used now are not from the GX era. In fact, none of the cards I use are from that era, aside from Castle, Vampire Empire, and Vampire Magician.
So I know what he says later. And it's gonna piss me off a little bit. Because he says this. I didn't put 2 and 2 together at the time, but one of his last posts was talking about how he wants to ban all of the links that are so generic, like all the generic links. Vampire Sucker is one of those that's, you know, a bit generic, my guy, because it gives you basically a free material, well, not a free material, but a free draw. Because holy shit and piss. That's like, that would be banned in your vampire deck. So you can probably kiss your fucking vampire combos goodbye if you had any of those. But like, I would say, because again, like, I know there's that vampire, the intended way to bring out the vampire rank 8 is to take 2 of your opponent's monsters and use them as material, which can be done with the vampire links pretty consistently. I don't know what the big vampire boss monster is supposed to do, like the Dracula guy. I haven't used him before. I've finished making the deck and I got those cards, but I don't know what to actually do with him. I'm sure he's pretty neat, alright? I'm sure he's pretty cool. I just noticed the timer on screen is like kind of fucked up. I don't know how it gets out of sync like that. It's really weird. But no, point is, the generic shit you're using right now to bring up these old decks, like Dark World, Alien, Vampire, probably would be banned under your rulings. Just saying, like, you have to check yourself before you just start, you know, putting these things out there. I know he mentioned it earlier that he could fix Yu-Gi-Oh, but he would make Yu-Gi-Oh in his eyes the way he wanted to play it, not how everybody else would enjoy playing the game. Which, you know, every little Timmy that comes in here says that. And like, holy shit. Sometimes I would love to see what happens, you know? Sometimes I just love to see what happens. 1 week to go through every single card and deem if it's ban worthy or not. Could you imagine? Your voice would lose after 3 duels like that. Gosh, I wish there were more flexible ways to play it. Since the lore and art and the effects are cool, but in practice it's become so monotonous. Oh, picking up monotonous. I fucking hate Trickstars. Because, what was it? The initial burn for Trickstars is all automated. But what isn't automated is Holy Angel's like attack boost and Darkroom and Nightmare. Those aren't automated. Why do I have to activate each instance of Darkroom of Nightmare's effects over and over and over again? I don't like that. It's really annoying. Anyway. Just essentially. Oh, I don't know. I'd be voting the F out of Dino players for the slow play. And if the plants got any hint of Rika or Naturia, screw them too. Oh, and I bet in return someone would vote for my Dark Magician deck after getting in the loop with the Dragon Knight. That's the one that stops backward destruction, right? If you had Eternal Soul and the Dark Magic Circle up on the field. That's fair. The community is a mess. Even when it comes to something like just go for the game instead of summoning versus an empty field. So there's no way the vote wouldn't get abused. I think somebody mentioned this as well in another thread where, you know, they don't like people like BMing and stuff like that. But, you know, then there's a counter argument that they're doing it for dailies. There's also the counter argument where, what if you had Battle Fader in your hand though? But what if you had Battle Fader in your hand?
I don't know. It just is what it is. Like, I don't really care.
When I see people playing a beam deck, I usually slow down and play. Sorry, it's usually slow down my play and play badly, doing one thing per turn, sometimes letting them win, pretending my hand is full of bricks and traps that aren't that good.
You seem like a bad player. Like, I know what you're trying to say. You're like, oh, you know, I'll help this guy out. You know, he's playing normal summon beatdown. You know, I'll give him like a little helping hand here. You know, he's actually, he might have done this against bots. And now that I think about it, Arcanite Magician. Oh, wait, is his name Arcanite M for Arcanite Magician? Because he runs an Arcanite Magician. Oh my fucking god. Arcanite. I'm just curious. The person you're going up against, do they summon Mad Dog of Darkness and use Black Pendant, and maybe or maybe not summon a Gemini, and not normal summon the Gemini? Just out of curiosity, do they use equip spell cards like Horn of the Unicorn and things? I just want to know, my guy. I just want to know. And if you're playing slowly and badly intentionally against people like that and letting them win, that's so fucking funny to me. So funny. I don't know. There was one time when I was like, you know what, this guy just put, like, he probably bricked, he just put down Junk Synchron, he couldn't do anything. You know, I'll give him a turn. And then I got my asshole obliterated by Junk Speeder, and I'm like, never again. Never again am I ever going to be playing like that. I cannot show mercy. Fucking Junk Speeder, dude. Like, no. But don't do this. Don't do this, okay? Because you don't know who's on the other side, and it doesn't really matter most of the time. Like, I know you want to play for fun, but the person you're thinking of is probably either a bot, or they're not gonna remember you, dude. Sometimes I do wish after a duel you could, I don't know, like the player, or like give them like a thumbs up. That's exactly the same thing I just said twice. Or you know, like maybe send them a friend request. I don't know if you want to like send them, but like follow them or something. I don't know. You probably could do this better on Xbox or a console version of the game, because I noticed this the other day. Is I think there's a rule in place for other versions of the game that require your opponent to have their like friend code up on screen when dueling, like when matchmaking. That is a bit odd to me, because it doesn't do that for PC, and I wonder why. I feel like it has to do with a rule stipulation as to, you know, who owns that account, how they're linked to, and you have to visibly share that information to your opponent, or just to the other player in general, due to, you know, Microsoft like terms of service and PlayStation's like, you know, terms of service and stuff like that. Like that's just the law in order for that game to be legal on those consoles. That's what I imagine anyway. Anyway, more importantly, hold on. The thing is, as current meta players get voted out, players playing old metas rise to the top. Those players get voted out, and the cycle continues. The remaining players cannibalize each other until everyone is playing vanilla beatdown. Are you familiar with Last Card Standing? It's a tournament series designed on this very premise. This is the thing I mentioned. Every top cut of each tournament is banned going forward. The last top cut was Dollhouse, Hazy Flame, Mecha Phantom Beast, Light Ray, X-Saber, and Pile decks for different monster types. They banned Pyramid Turtle. Those psychos. I forgot what voice I did for this guy. Oh no, this is a different person actually. If only everybody could understand this simplest thing. The main reason why I enjoy the game my way. Sorry. The main reason I just enjoy the game my way. Oh yeah, true. Like, this is interesting to me because this is exactly what would happen. Let's say somebody bought Snake Eyes, they would get voted out pretty fast. All right. Then the next person would be using like anybody who would win would get voted out after 3 matches. That's just how it would be. And then yeah, he's right. Eventually, like, it would just be, oh, you beat my vanilla beatdown? Fuck. You beat my T-set pass? Fuck.
You had MST, bro. Oh, you're getting banned, man. Like, but according to Arcanite,
I don't think casual players would get rid of one of another. Also, the league resets each week.
your fake league resets each week. That's good to know. Wonderful. More importantly, this is just factually wrong. How many other players do you know? Like, just out of curiosity, like, do you have any other thoughts besides your own? That's a weird statement to say, but I'm just curious because, like, different people have different opinions on certain things, and yeah, without a doubt, Yu-Gi-Oh players will fucking kill one another over just a card, okay? Like, just a card effect, a card ruling even. Like, yeah, people would be at each other's throats for what's considered meta or not. Like, if you were to make that its own topic, I'm sure there will be fucking people going nuts. Thankfully, that isn't the topic for this discussion. Everybody have different meaning of the word casual, bruh. This is such an accurate statement. But Arcanite,
not true. Pretty much everyone thinks of the same thing when saying casual.
no. No. Oh, I can tell you for a factual statement that this is objectively wrong. All right, my guy. No. The term casual is so broad. It's so vague to so many different people.
I think Shaddolls was the first archetype that led to the downfall of Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's a bold statement there, Cotton. If I were to replace the statement with something that I feel, maybe Cyber Dragons, but that's only because I know about what Cyber Dragons did back then. And at that point, I guess it was just like the speed of the game. Like, I mean, I guess power creeping was what happened, I guess. Konami didn't have to make Cyber Dragon special summon when your opponent controlled a monster. They didn't have to do that, but they did it anyway. And you could say that everything kind of stemmed from that point onwards, where so many, like, just look at Kishtira, alright? You just summon them fucking card for no reason. You control their monster, just put it down, fuck. Like, you can say about so much nowadays. But I don't know. I guess I did have fun around that time. I would say that maybe pendulums were probably the thing that kind of killed, like, went off the deep end, maybe. But that's also probably because at the time I didn't really understand pendulums all that much. I just knew that they flooded the field and, like, you know, just made a whole bunch of shit and then flooded the field again and made a whole bunch of shit. And I'm like, well, all right. That was, I think, around the era I stopped playing. Like, I stopped playing around Lynx. Like, now I know what Arcanite's gonna say, and I don't know if it's like down here or not somewhere, but I personally did like the early era of Lynx. I'm not saying I liked Master Rule 4, because I absolutely hated the idea that you had to have a link in order to play like any other extra deck type monster. That was fucking garbage. But personally, I thought Konami was going to go in a different direction with Lynx. Because the like, when I heard of the idea and watching Reigns, I was like, okay, so most links will always point towards your opponent's side of the field. So if you were to spend your resources and put down a monster like a Link, for example, and you know, it's so easy to bring links out, alright, you'd be giving your opponent an advantage by giving them an extra link zone for them to use for their own link summons as well. And I thought that's where they were going with it, but eventually at some sort of point they were like, nah, fuck it, we're not doing that anymore. So like, any of the links are just like always pointing to your own field. It's like, alright. I think that might have happened when the ruling changed again, and you didn't need to have a link zone in order to summon a XYZ or synchro monster or fusion or anything like that. And I think that's when they were like, alright, now we can just go ham, and then just started pointing everything downwards. It like doesn't fucking matter. I don't know, man. Like, concept is neat, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I haven't found a Link deck that I enjoy yet. I like Sky Strikers, but they don't play like a Link deck. They play like fucking form change. They just keep swapping each other out for another one. It's the most like non-Link intensive Link deck possible. But I like it a lot though. That being said, again, like I don't know. Like, I like Trickstars. I find them appealing. The only problem is I haven't seen anybody use Trickstars and not use Holy Angel. There's like 4,000 links for Trickstars, and there's only one that ever comes out because it's the only one that's relevant and helps burn damage. The rest of them are just like, Belladonna's cool, but are they gonna spend all those resources to get Belladonna? Probably not. Like, fucking hell. Like, it's unaffected if nothing, it's not pointing to anything. Yet, meanwhile, it's pointing in all fucking directions. Alright. Anyway. I don't know. It's the Playmaker's fucking cards, though. Like, you got the fucking crazy-ass Firewall Dragon, and you got... I actually don't know if At Ignister is considered a Playmaker card. Not that I'm, like, making this about the anime now, but, I don't know what happened towards the end of Reigns that led to all that shit. But my goodness. The At Ignister stuff is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, Shadows with the downfall of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fuck, man. Shadows, flip effects, graveyard effects. Like, actually having good flip monsters with the downfall. Can't believe that's where you drew the line.
I remember being frustrated that no matter what, they got an effect off.
I mean, yeah. I mean, have you seen, like, Prediction Princesses as well? Like, why is that a problem for you as well? Like,
no way to destroy them, and not having them generate value. A Cancer archetype.
Not have them generate value. What do you mean by that? If I had to say something that I disliked versing back in the day, I would probably say Galaxy Eyes, because this was before I really like understood, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole, and my friend Katrix would often use the Galaxy Eyes deck. And to me, I felt like that was very powerful. Like, Galaxy Eyes can just bring out these level 8s, just fucking willy-nilly. Like, they already have, like, 3k attack, and you just summon Galaxy Eyes for fucking nothing. And, you just overlay it into rank 8s that are just equally as powerful. And you can just pop cards on the field and negate effects during battle phase. And I was like, alright. Calm the fuck down. I just have Swamp Man in defense mode. Alright? Like, had no chance. no chance. But, nah, if I was in Arcanite's position right now, that is the card that I would say led to the downfall of Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, I don't know, it's an XYZ era deck. I don't know if Arcanite would also consider XY, like Galaxy Eyes to be considered meta. Galaxy Eyes are by far not meta. Not even close. But like, because they brick so easily, man. Crazy. You just ash like one thing and the fucking whole combo is over. No, Cancer archetype, by the way. Fuck shit alls.
They also had the Insane Search. They only lacked the Swarm, but Zodiacs came along and fixed that.
What, do you mean like when Rat Pier wasn't banned? And like wasn't limited to one? I had never versed Rat Pier, because what's funny is I was looking at my cards the other day, and I remember building a Zodiac deck just because I had the fucking cards left over from like, I don't know what pack they came out in, but I opened a box of those and I just happened to have a bunch of the Zodiac cards left over, and I was like, oh fuck it, I'll make a deck with them. Lo and behold, I didn't know what the ban list was at the time of making that, nor did I ever look at it, and sure enough, there were 3 Rat Piers in there. Like, okay. Alright. I don't think I ever used that against my friends, but man, I wish I did. I really wish I did now.
If you think Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't going down in relevance, it is.
This is incorrect, but sure, whatever.
That's why they try different formats to somehow reset the game.
Do you think Konami is hosting GOAT format and Edison format? Konami doesn't really give much of a shit. It's fans of the game who enjoy it that are hosting that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
0 new players. No Zoomer is gonna sit down for 5 minutes and wait for their turn, only get 5 negates.
Did you like verse Mementos one time? Is that what happened? Like, not, I don't know how to break this to you, Arcanite, but not every deck is like that. And normally what happens is, coming from a person who likes going second, all right, just saying. Also, if you're wondering where these came from, I think I did these ones. I think I did them because I thought this was very funny. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, actually, let me check. Can you double up on them if it's been a day? No, wait, when was this? You can't do it again. But I swear to God, I gave that guy a clown award. I swear to Jesus. I swear to Jesus. Oh, if you edit the thing, does it stop the clown? Let's like remove the clowning? I'd never thought about that before. I wonder if that is the case. Because I guess somebody else might have added it back, which is fucking funny as well. Sorry. Lost my train of thought. First off, I like that he got the time right. That's very important when making this statement, is that you get the time right. It's 5 minutes. No longer, no less. That's also assuming they consume up all of the time and time out. But, you know, 5 minutes. Just saying. 5 negates is also incorrect. Oh yeah, I remember what I was gonna say now. As a going second player, you'd obviously start with your negates first. Like, if you know what deck they're playing and you have like infinite permanence in your hand, or like, I don't know, some other nonsense, it's probably best to not drop that until your turn starts. Like, why would I want to negate, like, why would I want to negate a Rise Heart on their turn when it's just going to become my turn in like 2 seconds anyway, and then I have to deal with it? I'd rather would wait until my turn and then negate it so I can play the game normally. But you know, whatever, all right, that's fine. Million negates, all right. Like Baron is the exact same example, by the way. Like, you'd want to bait out Baron's effect before the amount of times I've encountered Baron, I've always ended up dealing it with the exact same way, because I just happen to have the cards in my hand. Where like you'd activate your starter and wait for like either an Ash or something else, and then usually they'd use Baron or whatever, and then you use like Forbidden Droplet, and then you use Forbidden Droplet to get rid of the Baron. And it's like, well, so much for the Baron, it does nothing. But the sentiment I can see where he's coming from with this is that Arcanite, I don't think, is the kind of person who would play a bunch of negates. Like I don't think he has stuff like Called By and Cross Out, and, you know, maybe he's got Effect Veiler, but that being the only one. I don't think he's the kind of person that would use Ash Blossom. I don't think he would use Infinite Impermanence. I don't think he would use Forbidden Droplet. I don't think, I probably already said that, but I don't think he would use those cards that are just straight up like negates. Or better yet, there's also like if you really wanted to get like some neat tech, I guess you could add like, I think it's forbidden something like Lance or something, where like if you put down a monster and they try to negate it, you could just drop that as well, and it becomes like unaffected by card effects, which is pretty neat. Only for a turn though, but you know, it's enough to get your stuff off at least. But nah, 5 negates, bro. 5 negates.
In my opinion, this game needs to return to pre-pendulum era of card design. Links can stay. I think they're okay.
This is the yeah.
Even thou, they are just a broken version of XYZs.
Dude, there are some. I'll hold my thought.
Just ban the OP links and even the very good links.
Okay. So, first off, what do you think is a very good link and a very OP link? I just want to know what's the difference. Obviously, you would say SP, but would you consider IP Masquerena a good link or an OP link? Because I think that link is practically useless depending on the link you bring out with it. Most of the time it brings out either SP or Apollousa or something like that, because that's just straight up like, you know, where you go with that in order to get your 5 negates allegedly, like, you know, just in case. But IP Masquerena in a deck that doesn't do something crazy like that, and if you did have,
you know, the good and OP Link's band. IP Masquerena is probably totally fine and would not be considered meta. At least I don't think it would. You just dodge something with it. That's about it. Imagine being able to synchro summon on your opponent's turn. There are cards that do that. IP Masquerena is literally that, but for links. It just depends on what link you're bringing out with it. Now, I don't know, man. The other thing that I wanted to say is like, yeah, links are a broken version of XYZs. If you were to go to a pre-pendulum like era of card design, like if let's say if you were to stop production at the pendulum era, like just stop them before fucking Arc V became a thing, right? There are already a bunch of broken ass fucking XYZs that exist at that time period, like shitloads. And I don't think any number of like basic bitch link monsters are gonna like be anywhere near that. I don't know, because there's like there's that thing that Horus cards make. I forget the name of it. It's number something, whatever the fuck. Where you detach a material from it and it just negates a card. It's quick effect. That's pretty cool. But like, is that not considered a broken XYZ? I'm just curious. Like Arcanite. My genuine question for you is: are there no broken XYZs and synchros before the pre-pendulum era in your like idealistic worldview? Because I can tell you right now, there definitely are, without a doubt. I don't even have to look them up to know that they exist. All right. Probably even some broken fusions too. Like fucking hell, I don't know what came out during that era. I also wonder if I were to verse somebody like Arcanite with like that Masked Hero OTK deck, if they just consider it meta and broken, even though all it does is just form change like 3 or 4 times in one battle phase and it'll win the game. Oh, this is good. Wait, so let me get this straight. You don't like the meta decks right now. You mentioned 2 decks that were meta, and one of them had a degenerate AF strategy at the time. Spellbooks were undefeated. If you weren't playing Dragon Rulers, Dark Worlds were meta, like 2005, 2006. Gishki, while not meta, could hand loop you to death. It was the meta for many FTKs and OTKs. So, if it is what it is doesn't apply to those decks, despite being meta, or having a degenerate combo in the past, why do these newer decks have to have this application? This is very true. In a few years' time, the meta decks right now won't be meta. Would they then gain the it is what it is status? Something I would like to see pass is if Arcanite was like, you know, in charge of everything, all right? Eventually, when Snake Eyes will become not meta, you know, whether that takes like 5 years or 20 years, who knows? Would they be considered a casual deck? Because I think my biggest gripe with Arcanite's whole like shtick on this is, when you say casual deck, there is a varying range of power levels between like what some people would consider to be casual and what some people would be considered to be casual. Like, if Arcanite is out here being like, oh yeah bro, but my like Utopia deck is like super casual bro, and it's like, you know, pre-pendulum and shit, that's still leagues better than, I don't know, a Dark Magician deck that's pre-pendulum. All right, just saying. All right, just saying. It's only fun when I do it. This is a very accurate statement. Everyone thinks the same thing. Mate, this is objectively wrong. I don't know why Papa Trickle said mate. It's funny. You have already had multiple people in this thread disagree with your idea of what casual is. Is that not enough for you? Look up any discussion on Reddit, or even the old Pojo forums. I've never seen Pojo forums. Is that going to be a new thing? New. About casual, and see how many people can agree on the on the exact same deck and power level. For the sake of not being one of those find it yourself people, I found this thread from 2 years ago, right around the time Master Duel launched. And you can see how many different opinions people have on what defines casual. Still not enough. Queue for a few games into casual mode in this game, as this game has, and see if all your opponents agree on what a casual deck is. I don't think he's gonna. nobody takes casual mode as a casual mode in Master Duel. It is just like a, hey, you want to play your deck without deranking? Is you go. What is this a link to though? Oh, interesting. Not that many comments though, surprisingly, but passing through Redditor. Oh my god, please tell me. What defines a casual deck? This is a question that I've always wondered and would like an answer to. I like to play casual decks since I'm not really into the whole competitive Yu-Gi-Oh scene. As such, I usually play with pure decks that have as little or no out of archetype cards inside them. Inside them. Of them. It's like, wait, what? Hang on. Now I'm getting fucking confused here. No, sorry. No out of archetype cards inside them. Of them. Aside. Oh, sorry. Inside of them. I don't know why. Wait. Oh, it's because there's another them here. That's why. Or no out of archetype cards inside of them, aside from back row removal and mirror force variations. Because of this, I tend to get in bad situations since I don't have the cards like Ash Blossom to stop my opponent from searching cards. However, recently when playing on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, I remember it being, because I know it's called Edo Pro now, but I remember it used to be called Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro or Dev Pro. That's what I remember it as. A person called me an asshole. Simply because I used Terratop in my Speedroid deck to get out a Crystal Clear. So that's why I'm curious to see what people consider to be casual decks and archetypes that can be considered competitive. This is fucking hilarious, by the way. Because I'm sure by Arcanite's standards, yeah, like this would probably be considered a meta. Alright? It's too strong, alright? It's got an Omni Negate. What the fuck do you do against that, alright? Casual for me is the mindset. Also, by the way, his opinion on a casual deck, the whole like very few staples, mostly archetype in engine stuff. Like that's kind of where I'm standing with the thing. Limited to one though would be, you know, give more variety, I suppose, to the, you know, the shit you can pull. But whatever. Anyway, for me, is mindset and intention. Your casual deck probably is not designed to top your locals, but it might top locals for various reasons. You just expect the deck to do whatever it is intended doing regardless of competitive viability.
Like the Dragon Maid deck I made,
I don't expect that's... I mean, I don't know if Dragon Maid is considered... This was 3 years ago. I used Dragon Maids for like... That was my first deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! When I came back to it, and I was like, this is disgusting. This deck is so strong. What the fuck?
Well, I don't expect it to beat out Monarch or any Floodgate burn deck consistently because of my only negate is Shiyu. Even though I can get 3 Shio on board and attempt to get them from more bodies from grave to summon them again next turn. The point isn't to have a ton of negates on board, and I'm kind of sunk against Grand Maju. Best attack I have is 6,500, because I run 5-headed dragon and 3 welcome. 1 droll and lock or ghost bell during shift to battle phase shuts down my plays entirely.
How does droll shut down the battle phase stuff? I thought that only adds to your... Oh, I see. Imagine being mad at a Speedroid deck when we have Sword Soul, Drytron, and Eldritch. This is fucking funny, by the way. Yeah, Speedroids. I don't think I've ever seen pure Speedroids. That'd be funny. Not to mention all the other busted meta and rogue decks. Destinations. Honestly, most recent archetypes, support for older archetypes are scary if you don't have any form of interruption. This is funny considering Yubel just happened, by the way. A lot of decks are stuck in casual, not because of their power level at the end of the turn, but because they have checkpoints that'll absolutely end their turn if interrupted. Yeah, like Magician's Rod getting ashed. If left completely unchecked, there are dozens of casual decks that can end their board with 2 or 3 interruptions. Like Dark Magicians. Yu-Gi-Oh is more and more designed to be interactive during the opponent's turn. I think, but dude, there are like a million people on the Steam discussions that would like disagree with the statement. Like, the amount of times I've seen somebody be like, oh, actually, no, it's not a million. It's because it was so fresh in my mind from like Monday's fucking stream and Monday and Tuesday stream where like Garbage and that other guy was being like,
actually, Yu-Gi-Oh is not more interactive, bro. It was more interactive many years ago.
fucking stupid shit. I think casual players tend to confuse, I think players tend to confuse casual and 2014 power level nothing higher, please. Current casual decks can have a fierce potential, especially if you don't play the most form of disruption or removal. 2014. Is that? Oh no, that's Zexal, isn't it? Or late 5Ds? I'm trying to think if that was around Pendulums. No, I think Pendulums was like after that. Exactly, without interruptions, people going second to FTK, or at the very least, put you done to 2,000 life points consistently. We aren't playing War Rock here. Dude, I fucking really want to try War Rocks. I heard what they can do and I think it's very funny. It's probably not anymore. But anyway, exactly, without interruptions, some decks would be absolutely busted. Think of Heroes. What other archetype can one turn spit out 6 2,700 plus beat sticks? One of which is a 5,000 that can attack 3 times in a single turn. Oh, dude, Vision Hero Trinity. Without even breaking a sweat. I mean, you have to spend like 3 resources to put that shit on the field. You're not getting that plus other monsters. It's only kept in check because of the exception of Plasma plus D-Force. It barely has any protection besides a handful of single pop 1-card quick effects. I think this was before Shining Neo Swingman, right? That's my guess. I drew no negates, let me be angry. Fun, Thunderies, this is interesting though. I mean, it already like puts a fucking needle into Arcanite's like whole idea with fucking saying that everybody thinks of the same thing when talking about casuals, which is, you know, this is not, you already proven wrong with this. Decks that aren't optimized are not decks that, when optimized, can still compete with meta decks. People just gotta understand that there are power levels to casual decks. Yes, this is the important part, yes. Ghost Trick is casual, still can't do much against other casual decks like Cyber Angels. Ooh, interesting. I say that because I want to make Cyber Angels at some point. There are casual elitists who are just bad, if not worse than the competitive elitists. There is no concrete definition for what's casual. I'd argue it's more about how you go about playing. If you're running a deck because you think the cards look cool or play fun, then that's casual. Oof. Dragoon, Ajama King. Not casual, it's sweaty. Oh god, I don't want to talk about Ajamas right now, Jesus Christ. Okay, alright, I get the picture. How did he follow it up?
Dude! We don't live in 2005. Not sure you didn't think twice before writing your point. That makes no sense. Really wasted your time. We live in 2084. Those decks are casual now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, this was not in relation to fucking Papa Shackles. I was like, hold up. What are you talking about? His decks are casual now. Gishki? Like, they're still really strong in comparison to what other people consider casual decks. Is where we're getting at here, alright?
Your point is just terrible, XD. Not even half as smart as you imagined it to be, XD.
Do you have to, like, fucking shit on the guy? For, like, you know, providing a fact? like, I know people want to say, like... Arcanite is the kind of guy who would say, like, oh, Yu-Gi-Oh players are so toxic. Meanwhile, like, spouts shit like this in response to, like, a genuine, like, just a fact of the game. Like, oh, excuse me? No one's, like, attacking you here, my guy. The fuck?
They don't disagree with me on what a casual is.
Did you like read the link at all? And if you did, all right, what do you think casuals are?
They make blanket statements by saying fun is subjective.
I want you to prove to me right now that it's not subjective.
While proving nothing of substance to back up their claim.
Like, everybody, hold on, what are you talking about? Taco Ashki, thank you for the follow as well, I appreciate that. Also, hang on, let me just pick a random statement, like this one. Doing your own thing. I mean, I like, what I find so funny is like, is fun not subjective? Like, is it not? Sending out the fun handshake cards. What are you talking about? Like, there's only like 30 posts you gotta read. There's only 30. It's not that hard. Granted, I only fucking skim read some of them, okay? Like, what are you talking about?
And yes, the vast majority of people do agree a deck with the power level XYZ era is casual.
Did you read anything? Like, I think, Arcanite, you need to provide your source for this, because if you're saying that a majority of people agree that this is just what you consider casual, like, oh man, like, come on, bro. You need to ask more than just your friends and family members, okay? You need to, like, actually provide some form of evidence.
Well, the majority of my friend group agree that XYZ is the era of casual.
That's what you need to say here, okay? Not the vast majority of people. The vast majority of people that you asked, all right? Because the vast majority of people in this thread don't agree with this statement.
You'll have that one guy that claims Normal Monster Beatdown is the only casual way, but he is a meme and not serious.
He is a meme. He is a meme and not serious. Not serious at all, my guy. I'm so sorry. Now, granted, I don't think the person who's claiming Normal Monster Beatdown is the only casual way, but that is basically like what that person would be considered fun, okay? Like, you're advocating for living in 2024 while also wanting a not powerful version of the deck. Like, I just want to say, like, do you know that the vampire shit you're using is pretty fucking strong? Just by itself? When considered up against, like, I don't know, fucking... I can't say Performer Pals because you fucking hate me. But, like... fucking Magispec? I can't say Magispec because there's more support for it now. Fuck! Trying to think of a shit archetype. Oh, Cloudians! What do you think about Cloudians, my guy? That's a pretty fun archetype. Got cloud counters and shit. Fucking cool stuff. That's GX era, my guy. Pretty fun. Ojamas. But no, I think that's all I'm gonna do for today. I'm like getting tired. I gotta go to work early tomorrow morning. I'm gonna get fucking no sleep. But yeah, that's all I wanted to look at, was basically just this post, and the guy was being openly racist. But like just some funny shit that happened recently. Either way, I'm gonna end things off there today.